This is Tin Caps Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back, everybody, to Tin Caps on Deck. Coming to you today from Parkview Field here in downtown Fort Wayne. Tin Caps on Deck, the Tin Caps pregame show brought to you by Hoopy Insurance Services. Tin Caps back home for what seems the first time in a long time tonight, starting a six-game series with the Lake County Captains, a team they faced more than any other team this year. And this being Tuesday, we get to talk with the manager of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, Jonathan Mathews. And first question for you, sir, today. Last week was kind of a weird week in more ways than one. It began with the Major League All-Star break, 4 days off. You were supposed to start a series in Lansing on Friday, but that game wasn't played because of air quality issues. Have you ever been involved in a game where it was the quality of the air that decided whether or not the game would be played or not?
Yes, I guess is the short answer. It was the last time I managed here. We were actually at their place at Lake County, and we had to cancel a game due to the same thing. I think it was, again, wildfires in Canada, I think, and we had to cancel a game in East Lake, Ohio, due to the air quality.
Well, you weren't able to get Friday's game in. You did get Saturday. You did get Sunday. You split the games. Let's briefly talk about the Saturday game. Pitching extraordinaire. 2-0 game that went 11 innings, but you had to be extremely pleased with everyone who took to the bump.
Yeah, I think we went 11 innings shutout, which is impressive. It was kind of a Johnny Holstaff day because, A, of the short series, and then also the All-Star break. So, a couple of guys went multiple innings, but then we tried to get a lot of guys touches on the mound, and they were all outstanding. When you go 11 innings and don't allow a run, that's I don't think you can ask for any more than that.
It began with Cash Mayfield, fresh off his appearance in the Futures game. You got 2 scoreless innings out of him. I know you were happy with what he did, but in the scheme of things, the way you tried to set things up, were you pleased?
Very, yeah. We want him to get multiple innings. He got 2, and that was kind of all we were after. And so, yeah, I was extremely happy with Cash's performance. I was proud of him. I told him, the day of the Futures game we were getting ready to play on that Sunday. And so the guys were enjoying watching him on TV before we went out on the field. So it was, I was proud of him that day, and then I was also very happy with how he performed when he came back to us.
The win Saturday, the loss Sunday, the off day yesterday. But not playing very much over the last week. How concerned are you with the timing issues with both the hitters and the pitchers?
That's a good question. In Lansing, I thought that the position players, specifically the hitters, their timing wasn't as good as it had been, which was kind of to be expected, and probably on both for both clubs. So yeah, today we kind of dialed up some velocity for batting practice to get their eyes sped back up. I think more than anything, it's just their eyes getting used to seeing something coming really fast at them. So when you go a couple of days without that, it takes a little bit to get it back. So hopefully this week would be more of a normal series. And get the guys kind of going back on the right side of things at the plate.
One player who has played very well coming to bat, Justin DeCrisio, you made the switch and moved him from number 2 to number 1, flip-flopping him with Ryan Weideman. What went into that decision?
I think he just sets the table, as does Ryan. But JD's been swinging the bat very well, and I wanted Ryan to hit behind him rather than kind of the other way around. And so, we kind of made that switch, and, it's worked out so far. Not that he won't go back to hitting 2 or somewhere else altogether, but so far so good.
We're chatting with manager Jonathan Mathews here on Tin Caps on Deck. Tin Caps start a series tonight with Lake County. I mentioned at the start, this is a team you've seen more than anybody else, thanks to the schedule makers. If all these 6 games are played, 24 matchups. That's an awful lot for 2 teams in one season.
It is. It's Omir Santos, their manager, I absolutely love. He's great to work with. He communicates. He's, when we go to their place, he's hospitable, and I try to be the same here. So it's not always that way with some guys. So if we're going to play somebody 24 times, I'm certainly glad it's Omir and his group.
Hard to believe, 42 games left. You're 6 games out of that first at the playoff spot. So theoretically, you try to get a game a week, but that's not really going to be the case, is it? You got to make up some ground and make it up rather quickly.
We do. and there's good teams in this division. These guys have moved some guys up, but there's still some of their core guys here from the first half. I know we played Great Lakes again a couple of times, and I don't know that they've moved anybody necessarily. So, and they're off to a really good start in the division. So it'll be tough, but yeah, if we can make up a game a week or two, some weeks, we need to. If we're going to make that playoff push, then yeah, we need to kind of get started, much like our major league club does.
Final question. I know the course of the year you have some pep talks with the team, both individually and as a group. Anything special this week at this series with Lake County?
Not necessarily. The one thing I'm very excited about, Jose Leclerc is here on a rehab assignment, 9 years in the big leagues. I think he's got a World Series ring with the Rangers. He was their closer. He seems like an unbelievable human, so I might have him stand up in front of the room one of the days that he's here if he's willing to do that. So I think a lot of times, I try not to do it too often because it's kind of like, I think it's like yelling at your kids all the time, then eventually they're not listening. So I try to time it, but it might be good for them to hear another voice just about what it looks like to be a pro, and Jose certainly is that.
As always, we appreciate the time. Good luck this week against Lake County.
Thank you, sir.
That's manager Jonathan Mathews. Back with more in a moment on the Tin Caps Radio Network.
Podcasts by Federated Media.